Welcome back to JP26. This is your boy JP, and of course this Studio 26. We have a lot to go over in the world of sports today, and sure, we could talk about a lot of different things, right? We could talk about Major League Baseball, Shohei Ohtani going up against Aaron Judge.
Okay.
Do it. Do it.
We could talk about the NFL with Frank Ragnow retiring from the Detroit Lions. That's a big loss.
Do it.
Over in the UFC, Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley. That's coming up.
Do it. Do it.
Okay, I'll be right back.
We could even talk about the New York Knicks firing Tom Thibodeau.
God damn. You got to be a stupid motherfucker to get fired on your day off.
We could talk about all those things, but we won't.
What the hell's going on out here?
And the reason why is because it is finals week. That's right. We have the NBA and the NHL Finals, and I can't wait to get into it. Somebody hit my music. So here's how it's going to work. For each series over in the NHL and the NBA, we're going to give an X factor for both teams. Then we're going to talk about each team's path to victory. And then ultimately, we're going to end with our prediction and our MVP prediction as well. So that is how we're going to break things down today. Hope you guys enjoy the content. As always, I love you very, very much. Do not, and I need to emphasize this, all right? Do not forget to like and subscribe. All right? Do it. So for me, everybody that understands hockey at a more than rudimentary level sort of understands the best players on the ice, right? Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl for the Oilers, Barkov, Bobrovsky for the Panthers. So everybody sort of understands each team's best player. But who are the X factors? Who are going to be the guys that are the difference makers in this series? Well, I'm going to tell you who I think that is. For the Panthers, everybody was making a big old stir at the trade deadline because what happened? Marchand got traded to the Panthers. And anybody who really understands hockey knew what that meant, because it wasn't just like you were adding a good player to a good team. You were adding a good player that fits exactly that style of play to that team that already had a lot of those guys with that style. So you're basically just stacking the deck now with these guys.
That way, you can all gang up on the weaker ones, like Winston here.
So for me, the key is going to be Marchand, and more so the depth of the Florida Panthers. As you get into the third and fourth lines for the Panthers, these guys keep coming, right? They're really good, and everybody's really good, and those teams tend to win the Stanley Cup. So that is an X factor for me, is the Panthers' depth, and namely Marchand.
Yeah, that makes sense.
For the Oilers, my X factor is going to be Skinner. And a lot of Oilers fans are going to cringe when I say that, and maybe deservedly so. Although right now, I don't know how much Oilers fans can be cringing because this guy has been standing on his fucking head, namely in that last series against the Stars. Now, earlier in the playoffs, they had replaced Skinner with a different goalie, and he just happened to get hurt, which is why Skinner came back in. So Skinner's been sort of on and off through his career, but recently as being inserted back in the lineup, he has been about as on as he has ever been. So he is my X factor for the Oilers, because for these Oilers, if Skinner shits the bed the whole series, they have no fucking shot. And every Oilers fan understands that he has the ability to kind of shit the bed. He's done it in the past.
Human fecal matter.
But on the nights that he's good, he looks like the best goaltender in the world. So we're going to see what happens with that. That is a huge X factor for the Oilers, and I know I'm not the only one thinking that.
And the truth shall set you free. It's the final countdown.
Moving on to how each team gets their path to victory. For the Panthers, what is their path to victory? Their path to victory is a very simple, very basic plan, which is why they are so successful, because they keep it simple and basic. They understand the concept that the definition of a line is the quickest path from A to B. Well, they are very good at utilizing that direct line, so to speak. What do I mean by that? They are very physical, and they're not just very physical. They're very physical all the fucking time.
Ow!
If you touch the puck and you're a member of the other team, you know you're getting checked. That's going to happen. It happens every single time somebody touched the puck. That's how their brand of hockey is played. They're very physical all the time.
All right, I get it!
So that's one. The other thing is to use their skill. See, what separates the Panthers from a lot of other teams is a lot of times you get these teams who are very skillful, but they don't necessarily have that ruggedness. A lot of times you get teams that are super rugged and physical, but they don't really have that finesse. What makes the Panthers so good is they are a physical team with the ability to play with finesse.
What in the hell's diversity?
Well, I could be wrong, but I believe diversity is an old wooden ship that was used during the Civil War era.
And there's no more of a prime example than Andrei Barkov. I mean, this guy right here is a two-way player. He's about as sweet as he gets with the stick in his hands. He's going to make all the passes, right? He's going to find the simple lane. He's going to make the right pass, going to use his body. But he's physical with that body, right? He's a big boy and he knows it. He puts his body on everybody.
What do you mean by that?
And that's kind of the way the Panthers play throughout their lineup. So for me, the plan is very simple if you're the Panthers. Don't look to freak out if you go down a game or two early in the series. Continue to do what you do best, which is wear the opponent out with your physical play. And over time, over the course of a 7-game series, it becomes harder and harder and harder to play against. And that is what I think the Panthers are going to be trying to employ versus these Oilers. And so we are going to see what happens.
Well, no fucking shit.
But what about the Oilers? What is their path to victory? Well, for me, I don't think it's any secret to say it is going to be the play of Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Now, these guys are exceptional players. They're exceptionally talented. They're all-time great players at the end of the day. Connor McDavid's going to go down as probably a top 5 hockey player of all time. Leon Draisaitl certainly on his way to a Hall of Fame career, and for good reason. These guys are fucking unreal, man. I'm telling you guys, if you don't normally follow the game of hockey, these two right here, number 97 and number 29 for the Oilers, are absolute magicians on the ice. And more than just being a magician for McDavid, he is basically Flash on skates, right? Like, the guy is so fucking fast. It's unbelievable to watch.
Good.
He's fast. He's really, really fast. I mean, he's so fast. He makes fast people look not fast.
I got it. He's fast. Why don't you show us your speed and get your pyro ass out of here?
Yes, sir. No. Oh, I'm sorry.
And that's why they're the X factor, because I don't see a world where the Oilers' depth is going to outplay the Panthers' depth. I don't see that happening. I can see them minimizing the gap. I can see them neutralizing how effective the Florida Panthers' depth is going to be, but I don't really see a world where they're going to just straight up outplay them. So for me, you're going to need your guys that are special to be truly special. And that's something that McDavid and Draisaitl have the ability to do. As much as I love the Panthers and as much as I think that they are a great physical team and somebody that I would want my own team to brand their game of hockey after, you can't rely on drafting guys like Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl. It's just not very often you're going to get guys that are that talented. And that is exactly what the Oilers have on their hands. They have guys that are truly special, and when they're on the ice, as good as the Panthers are, they do have the ability to take over, even against the Panthers. So we're going to keep our eye out on that. If Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl go to another level, I think the Oilers win this series.
Figure that out on your own, genius.
Yeah, sure did. Figured what out.
It's the final countdown.
And finally, the predictions. So who do I think ultimately ends up winning this series? Well, last time on the program when we went over the Western Conference Finals and the Eastern Conference Finals for the NHL, I was 50-50. I had the Stars beating the Oilers.
Wrong.
And I had the Panthers beating the Hurricane.
That is correct.
So this time around, I put some real thought into it. I thought to myself very long and hard about why it was that the Oilers ended up beating the Stars and why it was that I was correct on the Panthers taking out the Hurricane.
It's all a fugazi. You know what a fugazi is?
No, fugazi. It's fake.
Yeah, fugazi. It's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust. It doesn't exist. It's never landed. It is no matter. It's not on the elemental chart. It's not fucking real.
There's a part of me that believes that it is Connor McDavid's year. There's a part of me that's been watching sports for so long and knowing when the greats are truly great and in their prime, they tend to win the cups. There's another part of me who knows that ultimately sports are a team game and the best overall team usually wins. And so I'm going to go against the narrative part of my head that says that great all-time players win championships, and I'm going to take the Panthers.
You dick!
In 6 games. And the reason for that is just as I laid out.
My granddaddy was a pimp. My great-great-great-granddaddy was a pimp. I'm talking about pimping since pimping.
It's in your bloodline.
It's in my blood, and you will never be that.
Why?
Because you was born, all the people in your family were assistant pimps.
I've watched sports my entire life, and one thing I know for sure is the team that plays most cohesive, the team that plays most together, they normally end up winning the title. So Panthers did it last year. They've proven they can do it. They've done it once. They have the confidence. They have the swagger. I think they do it again. Could I be wrong? For sure. If McDavid and Draisaitl go ballistic, then all bets are off. But I do have a feeling that the Panthers are going to have an ability to bottle that up a little bit and close this one out in 6 games. So that is what I think, and I think that the Finals MVP will ultimately go to Bobrovsky for the Panthers. Guy stands on his head all the fucking time. He's surrounded by great players all around him, so he's going to feel very confident the entire time, I would imagine. And so I am going to go with Bobrovsky to win the Stanley Cup MVP. And obviously, if the Oilers win, I have to make a pick on that. So I think it's pretty obvious that McDavid would be the heavy favorite to win that.
It's the final countdown.
Now moving on to the NBA. We have the Pacers we have the Thunder. And once again, I was 50-50 on my picks for the NBA. I did have the Timberwolves taking out the Thunder.
What? What an idiot. Oh, what a loser. Good.
All right. But I did pick the Pacers to take out the Knicks, and I wasn't necessarily in a big group of people for that. ESPN.
And that's the truth. With some cheese on it. There ain't no meatloaf between these buns.
And each team, for me, has a chance to win this series. Let's start with the Indiana Pacers. Who's the X factor? Well, everybody knows how good Halliburton is. Everybody knows how good Siakam is, right? That's too easy. So who's the X factor for me for the Pacers? Well, the X factor isn't a who for the Pacers. The X factor is a what.
What did he say?
See, with the Pacers, you get something that you don't get with other teams, and that's pace.
What?
Pacers.
You're a real hooker, and I'm going to slap you in public.
They really do. They play with tremendous pace. They get up and down the court. I mean, we saw the last series, Karl Anthony Towns and the Knicks having so much trouble getting back. The Knicks would work so hard, and they would hit this basket, and they would like get their crowd into it for a second. And then literally a split second later, the Pacers would throw the ball all the way down to the other side of the court for a fast break bucket. And it was like, it's just free points.
I want to see what tomorrow brings.
Dang, he had it again. No.
And they just do that. Now, are they going to have the same success against the Thunder that they had against the Knicks with that? No, I wouldn't imagine so. The Thunder have a little bit more athleticism with their bigs. They do have some guards that really take playing defense seriously. Their whole team takes playing defense seriously. So it is something that I'm very much looking forward to. But having said that, the Thunder aren't necessarily used to playing in these games where teams are constantly playing at this pace. And much like we talked about with the Panthers, this is the kind of pace that can also wear other teams out, because the Pacers are used to doing it all the time. But other teams aren't necessarily used to playing at that pace like they are. So they almost force you into their brand of basketball. And so for me, that's their X factor. If they can truly force the Oklahoma City to play their brand of basketball, they might actually have a decent chance in this series, because the Thunder are a team that can play that style of basketball. And that could work to their advantage, but it can also lead them to just fold right into it instead of staying in what they do best. So we'll see how well the Thunder handle that, but that is the X factor for me for the Pacers.
Peekaboo! Let's play! Come on, let's play!
What's the X factor for the Thunder, though? And we could talk about all kinds of things, right? We could talk about their outside shooting. We could talk about SGA's ability to draw fouls. There's a lot that we could go over as to what could be the X factor for the Thunder. But personally, my X factor for these Thunder is going to be very simply how they defend Siakam.
What do you think? Nice. Jesus. That is really super. How'd a nitwit like you get so tasteful?
Here's the thing I know about the Pacers. The Pacers play this fast brand of basketball like we just talked about, but when they get into the half court and things really break down and they need somebody to just go get them a bucket, they go to that dude right there in Pascal Siakam in the mid-range. Now, Halliburton will take his shots from the outside and he'll make those, and he usually saves his energy till the end of the game. But Siakam's usually that go-to guy in the kind of mid-range post area down low. I want to know who exactly the Thunder plan to match up with him and how they plan to deal with the problem that is Pascal Siakam.
Look at me. Sure. Look at me. Sure. I'm the captain now. It's the final countdown.
Now, the path to victory for the Pacers, we could talk about pace like we've already talked about, but that's a given. That's something that they're already going to do. The real path to victory for the Pacers is, can they make Oklahoma City play at that pace? Can they force Oklahoma City to play at that pace?
Well, I'm not going to, ever. Even if there's a fire.
If they can make Oklahoma City play that style of basketball for 4, 5, 6, 7 games,
give me a hell yeah!
I think that they can win this series, and I think they have a really good shot to do it.
You serious?
Well, if that's the path to victory for the Pacers, it would only make sense that the path to victory for the Oklahoma City Thunder is to not be dragged into that kind of a game. You can play that game at times when it's convenient for you to do so, but understand that you're playing with fire anytime you constantly engage in that game with the Pacers.
Oh, I don't think I'm a lot dumber than you thought that I thought I was once.
So make sure that you aren't being sucked into that game completely and using the opportunities that it presents you for your benefit, and using that pace for your benefit when it's beneficial for you, but don't force it. And don't be afraid to slow the game down on the Pacers and make them play your style of basketball now and again, drawing fouls and doing those things that the Oklahoma City Thunder love to do.
Now you're being condescending. See, you've been warned, all right? Let's move forward amicably.
And finally, the prediction.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you
We don't care.
I think that everybody has a foregone conclusion that the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to be the champions. They've shattered a bunch of records throughout the year. They have the best record in the NBA this year. They have the best record post All-Star break this year. They've smashed just about everybody in the playoffs.
They're not on my level.
So there's not really a huge reason why you would pick against the Thunder. But after watching all of the NBA playoff games, and believe me, I've watched all of them.
Nerd alert. Okay, guys, now let's match pitch.
There's just something about these Pacers that I can't get myself to pick against them.
One eternity later.
And I'll probably be one of the only people in sports media that's going to go out on this limb and say this, but I am going to take the Indiana Pacers to win this series, and I think they get it done in 6 games.
You fucking crazy, man. You sound insane. Do you realize that? You should be medicated.
I might be wrong about this, for sure. Sports can go anyway, but after watching these teams throughout the entire NBA playoffs, I think that these Indiana Pacers have something special going on, and I would not be shocked if they win the title, unlike the rest of America. So who do I think the finals MVP is going to be? Well, I think that after the talk about Siakam winning the conference finals MVP, once again, this will be pretty close. I think it'll come down between Siakam and Halliburton if the Pacers do end up winning. But I think because of the last time Siakam winning it, I think a little bit more voters will be swayed to give it to Halliburton this time. So I have Halliburton winning the finals MVP, and that is what I think will happen.
Smoke more weed, Turtle. Seriously, smoke more weed.
Now, if I'm wrong, and the Thunder win the finals, as everyone expects them to, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say SGA wins MVP. You know what I'm saying?
Shut up, bitch!
All right, once again, that is it for this week's episode. I love you guys very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
How about new?
We have more to go over, so don't go anywhere. Come back next week so we can go over these finals. We got to talk about the Stanley Cup. We got to talk about the NBA. We got so much. There's so much sport. There's so much sports.